Righto, on to the briefing. So these briefing notes are a combination of notes for competitors to keep themselves as safe as possible, but also notes for support crews to allow the event to flow as smoothly as possible. The success of this event and the future of the event depends on everyone assisting and following our marshal's instructions so that everyone can have a good experience. We have over 1,300 competitors this year, and combined with support crew, family, event crew and media, we're around about a 5,000 plus moving circus. So if you can assist, the more you can assist, the better really. Please note these notes are current at this time. Additional safety messages will be given at a pre-race safety briefing, which includes Kamara Beach on Friday and Saturday mornings. The 2-day will have a second day race start at Klondike, and there'll be a briefing there if necessary. And support crew pre-briefing scrutineering at Mount White Bridge. Okay, forecast for the next few days. I feel like in the time that I've been here, I've been really blessed with a good forecast, so I'm happy to say I finally got one. For Friday's first ride, we're expecting fine conditions with the current southwest flow dying out somewhat tonight. For the run tomorrow, the forecast is for partly cloudy conditions, light winds. There is potential of a light shower on the divide. We're expecting warm conditions at Klondike Corner. Saturday for the longest day field, one-day field, ride conditions are forecast to be fine with minimal to no wind. For the run, again, fine conditions with little wind and some cloud developing later in the afternoon. Saturday river conditions are looking fine with a building easterly in the afternoon and a chance of light showers from the afternoon next to the foothills there. And for the final ride, high cloud with a building easterly. That's pretty much a quintessential coast-to-coast forecast, I think. River levels currently, the river levels are currently at 60 cumecs. They are trending down. We're predicting anywhere between 50 and 55 cumecs on the day. Okay, please note that all of our officials on course do have the right to cease you as a competitor. They do have the right to ask you to stop if they're concerned about your well-being, okay? And if they deem that your condition or other factors are putting them at levels of unnecessary risk. All right, tomorrow's start. For the two-a-day athletes, there is a change in the cyclist drop-off system this year, so please follow our instructions on that. There is a designated drop-off zone approximately 500 metres past the Class Harvest Centre transition location. No one should be out of their vehicle prior to this point, so you need to drive past the transition area. At this point, only competitors are allowed out of their vehicle to unrack their bikes. We will have assistance here if needed. We need to make this as smooth as possible to get everyone to the start line in time. Again, no support crew out of the car. Please complete your good luck cuddles and high fives prior to leaving your accommodation. No one is to get out of the car prior to the drop zone, which will be clearly signed. Only competitors out of the car to remove their bikes, and on leaving your car, competitors should have ankle bands on. Please go to the left-hand side of the road and walk down to the transition area. Competitors cycling from Kamara Racecourse to the bike transition is as per normal. You will need to walk your bike from the drop zone 500 metres before the Class Harvest Centre. Wear your reflective ankle bands and have lights on. Please be cautious of oncoming traffic in particular. One-day competitors can drop competitors along the highway as per normal. Again, support crews do need to remain in their cars. It is a 15-minute walk to the beach. You must leave the racks by 6:30 a.m. tomorrow for the two-day race and 5:30 a.m. for the one-day race. The transition will be closed 30 minutes prior to the start. Wear your helmet, bib and transponder. Just a note, your transponder is located in the front of those bags that you would have received at registration. They'll be in the front pocket if you can't find it. Take your numbered bag to put warm clothes in prior to the race start. If you are cycling from Kamara Racecourse, please be mindful of this bag. We have had incidents in the past where people have wrapped it up in their wheels, so just be mindful of that. Support crews, please on dropping off your competitor depart straight for Aitken's transition. There is ample time, however, the road is busy and you will need to allow time for car parking. If you're driving a camper van or towing a caravan and notice there is a large stream of traffic behind you but no vehicles in front of you, please pull over and allow traffic to continue to flow. There are two parking entrances at Aitken's transition. Please follow crew instructions on what entrance to use. First transition, the first cycling section. You must have lights on bikes before dawn and after dusk. Okay, so that's before dawn and after dusk. There is a road closure of 45 kilometres from Kamara Junction to Jackson's. That's the first 45 kilometres. Don't depend on it to work. Watch for the signs at Jackson's road closure ends. The last 10 kilometres from Jackson's to Aikens is open road. There is no closure on that section. Remember that officials, media and emergency vehicles will pass competitors on the open and closed roads. There is potential for local residents to be using this road and also a number of freedom camping spots which we have limited control over. Please be aware of these. Treat these roads as open. Keep to the left, do not cross the centre line, expect oncoming and overtaking traffic at all times. Obey the road code. If you are caught crossing the centre line, you will be disqualified. If the bunch is set up on the centre line, it is not an excuse for crossing the centre line. You will have to go back off and go around another way to get to the front. There's to be no handheld cameras or video devices that are to be used at any time on any of the cycling sections. If you want to film or video, you can only do so using a hands-free device such as a GoPro attached to your bike or helmet. Please note there will be team cyclists who will be riding through individual bunches. Use correct bunch cycling etiquette in these situations. If your bunch is obviously slower, do your best to allow the faster cyclists to pass. The acknowledged risks in the ride are other traffic outside of the event, other competitors, event vehicles and railway crossings, as well as all other cyclists during this ride. The mountain run section. Support crews. There will be spot checks of compulsory gear at Aikens Corner. Please have your competitors' gear organised for this and keep an eye out for the fun police. Bibs must go over the top of all clothing but can go under running packs. Please make sure your number is visible from the front when passing checkpoints. You must also attach the supplied number to the back of your pack. Make sure this is not obscured. If told by officials to put on your extra clothing, you must do this. Assistants and supporters must not stop at the Deception Footbridge on State Highway 73 to observe competitors. The road and railway line in this area must be kept open and safe. If you come across an injured competitor, stop and render first aid, then inform an official at the next checkpoint. You may need to stay with them. In this case, the next runner should continue on and inform officials. The terrain is very rough over this run, and there are multiple river crossings which can be deep. Take care and make good decisions based on your own level of skill. Look to use other competitors to assist with crossing in any areas you're unsure of. Other significant risks on the run you should be aware of are rough ground including boulders and tree roots, unstable ground with the risk of rockfall from above, steep descents, particularly on the eastern side of the course. Take these cautiously, especially with fatigued legs. The film crew have informed me they've got a new drone which can get within a foot of people and it's quite safe, so we're just sort of recognising that as a hazard too. So if you've got a drone right in your face, don't panic. I did go over the run on Tuesday and it was in stunning condition. It's actually had a good flush out and it was probably the course at its best really, so I think you're in for a really good course over there. Klondike Corner, there is extreme fire risk at Klondike Corner at the moment, and we have been informed a bit from DOC that we need to monitor this year. So no open fires, beware of hot exhausts and the dry grass. Camp where directed, please follow all directions from the marshals. No camping between the shingle road and forest. Please use our toilets and not the bush. There will be random gear checks on the course again, and at the finish line. Please display compulsory gear if needed and asked. Anyone with suspect or missing gear will undergo a full gear check at Klondike Corner. Missing gear will be penalised by time or disqualification depending on the items missing. Cut-off times for the run are 2-day competitors. All competitors must have passed the Doreen Creek checkpoint by 2 p.m. If competitors fail to make this point, they will be directed back out to Deception Footbridge under their own steam. All competitors must have departed Goat Pass by 4 p.m. and the mountain stage will be closed at Klondike Corner at 7:30 tomorrow night. One-day competitors on Saturday. All competitors must have departed Goat Pass by 12:15 p.m. All competitors must have departed Klondike Corner by 2:15 p.m. on Saturday. You will not be able to cycle onto Mount White Bridge after this time. Our mountain officials are out there to help you and account for your whereabouts at all times. They need to be able to read your numbers clearly and may call out to show you their numbers. Call out your number but show them as well. It's often easy to get mixed up what your number is once you're fatigued. There is course marking on the run this year. They are in the form of core flute arrows. There's not a lot of them. They generally are at major river crossings, etc. You can follow these as well as the dock signage. They basically link up. In places it will require common sense to follow the obvious track. Remember, basically you're following the main valley up and the main valley down. The only turn off is up to Goat Pass, and this will be marked and taped off. The arrows are generally what we consider the smoothest and most efficient route. It's not necessarily the fastest, so you do not need to necessarily stick to this route. It does look like it's going to be relatively warm over the next 2 days. Okay, so plan on that. And if you are relying on river water, it may be worth considering extra water for over on the Minga side. Just for those people that want to know, the slips at the Minga Bluffs, okay, you will go below those along the riverbed. It will be taped off, and then there'll be an arrow directing you back onto the track on that slip over the Minga side. On arriving to Klondike Corner, the Beeley River is actually hard up against the stop bank, the traditional block area there. You'll need to follow the signage that the crew have set up onto the Beech Tree Peninsula that's just before this. There is a track in there, and this will be clearly marked, so please follow our signage into that section there. It'll actually be the most effective route. Okay, the middle ride. Be aware of the downhill after the bluffs. It is steep and often in poor condition. It is very hot. The tar seal here is always melted and very slippery, so just be aware of that. The road is open to all traffic on this ride, so you must obey road rules, particularly on the one-way bridges. From this point on, just a reminder to the one-day athletes, this is a non-drafting section. Mount White transition, there is a marshal at the railway crossing before you cross the Mount White Bridge. If you're asked to stop, you must stop. There are trains scheduled which could affect some competitors. Failure to obey marshals will result in disqualification. Okay, the kayak section. Longer stay competitors should have had a number of compulsory kayak items scrutineered at registration already, so you won't need to have that done again on Saturday morning. You just need to show them that bag with the sticker. 2-day competitors. You can have a number of these gears items scrutinised tomorrow, Friday, at the RASDEC site in Klondike Corner. We advise doing this as it will save time on Saturday morning. Information in regards to items that can be checked are in all the handbooks. Other items not included in this list will be scrutineered on Saturday morning, but if you have doubts about your PFD or your helmet, you may get it checked at this time to see if it meets scrutineering. The river safety crew will scrutinise all gear outside of this on Saturday morning. Just the rules here, one-day competitors can have non-banded crew take your kayak down to have it scrutineered. The road will be open for support crew of one-day competitors at 9:45 a.m. with scrutineering starting at 10 a.m. Just for those people that are taking those kayaks down, this is at the same time that our 2-day competitors are leaving the Mount White Bridge area, so please be aware there will be a number of vehicles flowing up that road. The cut-off for one-day competitors is 3 p.m. on the river at Mount White Bridge and through Woodstock by 7 p.m. 8:15 p.m. at Gorge Bridge. There are no exceptions to this. There are orange buoys at Hamilton's Rapid and Woodstock checkpoints. You must paddle between them in the bank. That's how we get your race numbers electronically. These buoys are about 6 metres from the bank. If you see someone in trouble on the river and you can safely help them, do so. You will be the quickest and most effective form of support. Do not put yourself in danger in doing so. The river can be cold, okay, and often hot and calm conditions at Mount White does equate to cold easterly in the gorge. Stay warm so you can make good decisions. Put gear on prior to you needing it is generally our advice. If you start the river and find that it is above your level, you should stop at the first checkpoint, which is Gooseberry Stream. This is your last chance to pull out to a road access. All river staff have comms. Communicate any issues with staff so as the team can monitor potential issues as you move down the river. Cut-off times, river. One-day kayak scrutineering closes at 2:30 p.m. Two-day competitors must be on the river by 9:20 a.m. All competitors must be on the water at Mount White by 3 p.m. All competitors must have passed Gooseberry checkpoint by 4:30 p.m. All competitors must have passed Woodstock checkpoint by 7 p.m. All competitors must be off the water by 8:15 p.m. and through transition. Okay, just a few notes from Keith. Accounting for you whilst on the river is our biggest and most difficult task. we're going to have over 900 kayaks on the river on Saturday, okay, which is a huge amount of people to monitor. So when paddling past a checkpoint, Gooseberry, Esk and Woodstock, paddle close to checkpoint officials between the orange buoys and yell clearly your competitor number. If in a bunch, spread out enough to ensure checkpoint officials sight you and you fit through the electronic timing buoys. There is the odd piece of directional signage out there on the river. This signage must be followed. It will keep you out of harm's way and generally on a faster route. Failure to comply with signage will put you outside managed areas. Okay, river update, and I think probably everyone wants to hear this. So Keith rang me at 4 p.m, he got off the river today. So again, he did say there will be the odd bit of signage out on course, and that's basically to assist you away from hazards. He just wanted to re-emphasise that. Rock Garden 2, his description was it is boisterous. Rock Garden 2 will be an optional portage. We will have it marked. Okay, so if you do choose to portage this, there will be clear marking for Rock Garden 2 of the best way to portage it. He said it's very, very similar basically to pre the water going through in the weekend, so it's in a pretty similar situation. It was 65 cubics when he went through it today, and he said it was kicking up and pretty exciting, but generally similar to what it was. So that will be an optional portage, and I'll get back to that in a second. Okay, the Vortex Mega Howler. And can I just thank Ryan O'Connor for putting the fear up anyone who has not been to on the WIMAC this year with that name. Thanks very much. There is, at the current flow of 65 cubics, there is a small chicken line down to the left. We're doubting that that will exist. We're predicting it will drop 10 cubics in the next probably 24 hours, and we doubt that chicken line will exist. It potentially will. It is there currently, but we're not too sure. Again, it was described as boisterous. This will be an optional portage. Okay, so we will again have it obvious cones into where the best place is to portage this, but it will be optional. So you may paddle this line. The left line is in doubt. But it could be on the day. But this is an optional portage. Probably one of our largest concerns is actually this section from Woodstock to Gorge. As a lot of you will know, there is some willows down there. There is currently a chicken chute on the hard left of these. At this flow, there is a good chute at the hard left of these willows, which will keep you out of these basically willows, which are almost basically almost you can't get actually around these. So please aim for this and line this up. This will be clearly marked. Just a note on this current chicken chute is at this flow. It doesn't have a lot of water, so it will be dependent on the day on what that flow is. But please find, when you come past that Woodstock section, it's really easy to switch off. Please keep alert for that chute, okay? It'll keep you away from those willows. Just a note on all these, this will be updated to your support crew on Saturday morning. We have a last sweep on Saturday when we're putting our crew out, so we'll be looking at these features again. This is subject to change, but at the moment this is our current river management plan. One thing Keith fed back on is particularly with that rock garden section, particularly with the 2-day competitors, we do have large waves on the river, and if you are aware of where that rock garden is, do your best to actually create some space between you and other kayakers. It will help you manage through those sections. Often there is only 1 or 2 ideal lines, so if you can work together to actually give yourself some separation so you're not sitting on top of each other coming through these sections, that would be most beneficial. Just a note from us, part of your grade 2 certificate is being able to make decisions on the river based on your ability, okay? So a lot of you out there have trained for 24 months to do this event. A potential broken boat or a broken arm, okay, because you didn't want to do a portage, may not be worth it. All right, if you take 1 swim when you could portage, you'll probably be quicker to portage. So take that into consideration. That should be part of one of the skills that you have that developed as a grade 2 kayaker. So mate, we're putting that in your boats, I suppose, to make that decision. All right, based on your ability. The last cycling section. No support vehicles are to follow competitors at any time. The road is open, this entire road is open. There'll be a lot of traffic out there. Keep to the left, do not cross the centre line. Expect oncoming and overtaking traffic at all times. Obey the road code. There are sections on the final ride where cyclists must travel in a single file. There are several slipstreams to travel through, the signals and potentially coned left-hand turns. You must stay on the inside left of the cones. The available room is less than 1.5 metres, which is single file. Please keep your eyes up, and if riding in a bunch, signal these restrictions to your fellow competitors behind. Any competitor departing the Waimakariri River Gorge Bridge after 6 p.m. must have white front and red rear lights attached to their cycles that can be seen from a distance of 100 metres. Wear reflective bands on each ankle and wear a reflective high visibility safety cycling vest. There will be Fulton Hogan marshals present on Tram Road and South Eyre Road intersections and Main North Road Tram Road intersections. Also on any traffic lights until 7 p.m. Please follow their instructions. Please do not rely on these intersections being manned by our marshals, as they may be called away to other situations that take priority. In that situation, you must always obey the road rules. A reminder that the one-day event is non-drafting. Cool, just a reminder, there's no headphones, iPods, MP3 players to be used by competitors in any section of the coast to coast. You must at all times be able to hear the instructions of officials and the warnings of fellow competitors. No drones are permitted at the event. The event media team will be using drones, however, no competitor drones or support crew drones are allowed. We rely heavily on our helicopter operations in terms of our safety management operations, and the use of drones will mean that our heli team must be grounded. Any athlete who is associated with someone flying a drone will be disqualified. Railway crossings. If warning signals are going or if asked to stop by an official, you must stop. Remember, trains take a long time to stop and can be travelling at high speed through the rail crossings. They can also run outside of the schedule. Just on that, you should, when you get to the end of the mountain run, about 1 kilometre from the finish line, you should be going under the railway crossing bridge. It will be clearly signed. When cycling, keep to the left, do not cross the centre line, expect oncoming and overtaking traffic at all times, obey the road code. Make sure that you have reflective gear and lights working if you're cycling before 7 a.m. or after 6 p.m. Cyclists don't have guaranteed right of way through intersections being manned by police or traffic management. You must be prepared to stop. The traffic management crews will be doing their best, but build-ups of traffic or other incidents may mean cyclists have to stop and wait. Marshals could be called away to an emergency and the intersection will be unmanned. No athlete that is currently serving a ban, provisionally suspended or is under investigation for an anti-doping rule violation may enter this event. Entrance in the one-day event may be subject to random anti-doping controls prior or post-event, and as a condition of entries in the longest day elite category, especially the athletes submit to any anti-doping test or they will face disqualification from the event. Any competitor who withdraws from the race must sign an event withdrawal form. This is a key to one of our systems. All marshals and safety crews do have these. If you've not completed one of these and you withdraw from the race, please report to the closest transition and seek out an official to complete this form. All athletes who have identified they're on medication currently or suffer from allergies are reminded to carry their medication with them for the entirety of the race. Finally, after 40 years of the coast to coast, I still believe that it is an authentic alpine race and you will be in an alpine environment. We need you. You are basically the best safety management system we have out there. Support your fellow competitors and look out to assist where you can. If you do need assistance, generally a marshal's not too far away, so please inform them. And if you do this, you should have a fairly special experience. Good luck. If there are any questions, I'm going to be up the front here and you can come up and we'll follow up with any questions from the front. Best wishes to everyone and we look forward to a fantastic couple of days. Thank you.